All right, guys. Injuries for this week. Ziggy's out. Dante Johnson out. Mosley is out. Mostert is questionable. Deebo Samuel is questionable. K1 Williams is out, and Witherspoon's questionable. Go ahead.
Kyle, how did Jimmy make it through the week? I assume he's your starting quarterback on Sunday.
Yeah, he did a good job. I mean, each day it got better. Never felt too sore the next day, so we needed to hear that today and see him out there today, and we feel good to go, and he'll be starting Sunday.
In terms of Raheem, how did he look at practice, and what's going to go into that decision on Sunday?
Really just how he's feeling then. I mean, he got a little bit more work today. He was able to get through it. We didn't put him through everything, but really want to see how that responds tomorrow, how he wakes up tomorrow, and how he feels on Sunday.
How is Deebo doing?
Deebo's good. He was on Zoom in our meetings today, so says he has no symptoms, feeling great. So he's got one more test to pass. I think he did it today. We'll get the results tomorrow on that, and then he should be allowed back in our building.
So, Kyle, just to clarify, are the protocols different different this year than they normally are for illnesses? I mean, this obviously isn't COVID related because he'd be on that list, but you guys have to go through more kind of screening just to clear it somebody who's feeling ill?
Yeah, definitely. That's going to most likely be the biggest issues. My biggest worries. Deebo he was sick, so yeah, I think just a little achy. I think he might have had a fever at night. Especially with flu season coming up, that's going to be common. But if you have symptoms, you're automatically out of the building. I think for at least 2 days, because you need to pass 2 tests to confirm it's not COVID. And anyone who's been around you also needs to be out for those 2 days. So that's going to be the case with that stuff. So. I remember there was about 12 of us who were sick last year versus Minnesota in that game. We're going to have to deal with that stuff as it goes. So hopefully we'll get some luck with it.
Kyle, with all the moving pieces, different pieces, guys coming in, guys coming out, how much more challenging is it for you to game plan for this week?
It is a challenge, but it's just part of it. We kind of expected it going into the year. You do have experience of this stuff in the past when you're not sure whether guys are going to be up or not because they're just trying to battle through injury and stuff. A little bit more with the COVID rules and things like that, which we expected going into the year. But it's also a challenge for special teams too, because when it's not just one guy or 2 guys, they're all kind of connected, and with who you can promote off practice squad and things like that, makes everything pretty fluid. And we'll know for sure on Saturday night, but it's not as much game planning. It's just kind of hard sometimes to decide on the practice reps and stuff like that, to where this guy's going on special teams, but one guy gets sick or something happens. It's a little bit of a chain reaction in a number of positions.
Do you have a new number 2 quarterback?
Yeah, this week CJ will be up. So haven't decided with all the situations where we address 2 or 3. Most likely we'll go with 2, and I'll go with CJ this week.
Nobody else? All right, Matt.
Was that a tough bit of news to deliver to Nick? Just a week ago he was the starting quarterback.
Yeah, it's always tough to deliver to any of those guys. But I think Nick understands the situation, understands the business. It sounds dreadful and the end of the world to a normal person and anyone who cares about Nick. But I try to put it in perspective with Nick. He didn't have his best game. CJ's been there before. Jimmy's been there before. Nick just had a rough game, and I think he played better than it looked. It's never as bad as it seems. But that's kind of the life of a backup. CJ, I thought, did some real good things for us. Played through a number of games injured. Couldn't go one night versus Oakland, and Nick came in and seized his opportunity. And CJ hasn't gotten a chance since then because of that. It's kind of regardless of what goes on in practice. When 2 guys are capable and they both are pretty close in different ways, it's kind of tough to earn that spot in practice, and really tough if you don't have a preseason games and rarely get in like they did last year. They never really got in. So Nick understands. CJ has been through that since that Oakland game, and CJ came in and played well, and I know Nick's happy for CJ because they're close and respect each other. And Nick's not going to make too big a deal of it, but next time he ever gets his opportunity, he'll be ready.
Hey, Kyle, George said, I guess it was Sunday, Trent Williams mentioned yesterday that the Eagles did things, as far as their defensive line, that it didn't necessarily show on film the first 3 games, and George had mentioned teams have kind of attacking you guys a little bit differently throughout the season. I'm sure it's not like, hey, geez, I've never seen this before, but I guess our team's throwing in a little different wrinkles and, or trying to mess up your, whatever it is, the run game specifically.
Yeah, teams do that all the time. I think the Eagles are actually less than any of the other teams have been this year. Just as far as their fronts and everything and what they do. A lot of teams don't face 21 personnel very much, and they know they're going to see it a lot in our game. So we got to always be ready for them having a new plan because it's not something that they face as much, so you don't get as much clips of it. So I think our team's gotten used to, hey, just because they've played something a certain way on tape, don't expect that they're going to do that versus us. When it is like that, I think we've had pretty good success, and that's why our guys are always ready to adjust and kind of expecting something to be different.
Kyle, Jared McKinnon has done really well at breaking tackles and being elusive, but he spent the most time on average behind the line of scrimmage on each run. Do you need to see him attack the line of scrimmage quicker?
Everyone has different styles. Sometimes when guys who hit it extremely fast, it's great when the lane's there because you gash them right away. But when it's not there, they run into the backs of everybody, and they had a little bit more patience and stuff. They could have got 8 yards instead of -2 yards. So you got to take the pluses and minuses with each guy's style. There's nothing Jet's doing that we're trying to correct. I don't think he's got a ton of great looks in the 2 games he's been in. I think he's done a good job when he hasn't had good looks, create some stuff. And there's a couple that he's left out there that he knows that he maybe could have hit a little bit more, but by no means has it been anything that, everyone's got a little bit different style. And sometimes it helps them, sometimes it hurts them, and that's the story for all the guys.
With all the talk about the offensive line play this week, how do you think they responded to the week of practice and what you guys are asking for based on how they played on Sunday night?
I think they responded great. To kind of be under the spotlight on Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football when everybody's watching, and then not to have the success that they're used to having in the run game and in pass protection. Sometimes guys are going to be a little bit sensitive coming in. It's not fun for people to get called out like that, and our guys couldn't have been more the opposite. We got some men in our group, some guys who are very accountable. You could tell that they came in on Tuesday just on their own when they're not supposed to be around us, just detailing stuff up, putting more work in. It's kind of hard to think that they could put more work in because those guys are as good of a group in terms of work and preparations I've been around. But those guys, through adversity, they've gotten stronger. They had a great week of practice. I love how they came out yesterday in their team run, had a good day today on Friday, and pumped to see them play on Sunday.
Kyle, I might have missed it. You didn't mention Dre Greenlaw on the injury report, right?
Yeah, he's full go.
Yeah, and how important is it to get him back? What have you missed without him on the field?
Dre's a hell of a player. Everyone knows what he did for us last year. He's a guy who doesn't mess up. He does his job. He's a very sure tackler, and he also has a knack for making plays. So getting Dre back's huge, and can't wait to get him in there.
Last one, folks.
Kyle, a lot of injuries in your defensive backs group. Are you going to make a move before tomorrow? I know you told one.
Yeah, we're going to have to make a move, at least one. Again, that is probably our most fluid situation at DB, but we have up to one tomorrow to do it, so I know we're going to make at least one, possibly two. See how some of these guys did after practice, how they're feeling based off the training room, and we'll make our decisions and we'll go.
Hey, Faithful, subscribe to our YouTube channel.